In 1943, German Navy Grand Admiral Karl Dönitz stated the following: "The German submarine fleet is proud of having built for the Führer in another part of the world a Shangri-La on land, an impregnable fortress." Nazi Base 211, Antarctica. According to a number of rumors, Station 211 did exist, and if it did, then it must have been, and maybe still is, located inside the ice-free mountain range, the Mühlich-Hoffmann Mountains of New Schwabenland, aka Queen Maud Land. Just before the end of World War II, two German provision U-boats, U-530 and U-977, were launched from a port on the Baltic Sea. They took with them members of the anti-gravity disk research and development teams carrying drawings and designs for German UFOs. Much of the technology and hardware that the Allies were looking for concerning the Nazi secret weapons program had been transported to the base during the course of the war. This included the notes and drawings for the latest UFO designs and designs for the gigantic underground complexes based on remarkable underground factories of Nordhausen in the Harz Mountains. Two submarines duly reached the new land of New Schwabenland in Antarctica, where they unloaded everything. They then arrived in Argentina several months later without the original cargo. The Nazis embraced a cult and they believed that Earth could be hollow. They also believed that the hollow center could be inhabited by aliens. In fact, they believed this so much that one of the missions was specifically designed to find an entrance to the entrance of the hollow Earth and make contact with the aliens living there for the support in the Nazis' war of conquest. It is a historical fact that Nazi Germany devoted significant resources to the exploration of Antarctica and established a pre-war presence there with its first mission in the Antarctic summer of 1938 to 1939. According to a statement by Grand Admiral Dönitz in 1943, the German submarine fleet is proud of having built for the Führer in another part of the world a Shangri-La land, an impregnable fortress. After the defeat of Nazi Germany, the elite of the Nazi scientists and leaders escaped to this impregnable fortress by super submarines ahead of its time, two of which experienced difficulties and ended up in southern Argentina. According to a radioman stationed on the USS Brownson, gave the testimony of how the Nazi UFOs appeared dramatically out of the ocean depths. On January 17, 1947, 7 a.m., he said the following: "I and my shipmates in the pilot house port side observed for several minutes the bright lights that ascended about 45 degrees into the sky very quickly. We couldn't ID the lights because of our radar was limited 250 miles in a straight line. The Nazi UFOs flew close over the US Naval Flotilla, which fired on the UFOs, which fired back with deadly laser beams." According to Lieutenant John Sayerson, a flying boat pilot, the thing shot vertically out of the water at tremendous velocity, as though pursued by the devil, and flew between the masts of the ship at such a high speed that the radio antenna oscillated back and forth in its turbulence. An aircraft Martin flying boat from the Kurtuk that took off just a few moments later was struck with unknown type of ray from the object and almost instantly crashed into the sea near our vessel. About 10 miles away, the torpedo boat Maddox burst into flames and began to sink. Having personally witnessed this attack by the object that flew off to the sea, all I can say is it was frightening. The Nazi UFOs that had inflicted heavy casualties on the US fleet. This was to be known as the world's first battle between the United States military and the Nazi UFOs based in Antarctica in 1947. Operation High Jump consisted of 3 naval battle groups, which departed Norfolk, Virginia on December 2nd, 1946. They were led by Admiral Richard E. Byrd, command ship the icebreaker Northwind, and consisted of the catapult ship Pine Island, the destroyer Brownson, the aircraft carrier Philippine Sea, the US submarine Senate, 2 support vessels Yankee and Merrick, and 2 tankers, Canisted and Capacan. the destroyer Henderson, and a floatplane ship called Kurtuk. However, the operation ended 6 months earlier than expected. According to an excerpt from the 19th of February 1947, describes Admiral Byrd's arrival over the pole at 1000 hours. We are crossing over the small mountain range and still proceeding northward, as best as can be ascertained. Beyond the mountain range is what appears to be a valley with a small river or stream running through the center portion. There should be no green valley below. Something is definitely wrong and abnormal here. We should be over ice and snow. To the port side are great forests growing on the mountain slopes. Our navigation instruments are still spinning. The gyroscope is oscillating back and forth. Admiral Byrd made a number of cryptic comments when he was interviewed by International News Service correspondent Lee Van Atta aboard the USS Mount Olympus. The article appeared on the March 5th, 1947 edition of the Chilean newspaper El Mercurio. Admiral Byrd declared today that it was imperative for the United States to initiate immediate defense measures against hostile regions. The Admiral further stated that he didn't want to frighten anyone unduly, but it was a bitter reality that in case of a new war, the continental United States would be attacked by flying objects which could fly from pole to pole at incredible speeds. Admiral Byrd repeated the above points of view, resulting from his personal knowledge gathered both at the North and South Poles, before a news conference held for international news services.